Welcome, and settle yourself into a quiet place. Take a slow, deep breath in, hold it softly, and let it drift out, as if a candle flame flickers in a calm room. This is a gentle story about ancient Rome, told slowly and peacefully. Tonight, we will wander through the world of gladiators, not in the noise of the arena, but in the calm kitchens and quiet moments before a fight. Gladiators were known for their strength and courage, but also for their special diets. What they ate mattered. It was believed to keep them strong, steady, and ready for the strain of combat. In this narration, we will explore their food, their drinks, their rituals, and the simple details of daily life before stepping onto the sand. Let the calm descriptions carry you, as if you are drifting through time, moving gently through the past. Close your eyes if you wish. Imagine the sounds fading. No noise, no worries, only the soft rhythm of words. You are safe, and you are still. Now we begin our quiet journey into the meals of Rome's gladiators. Section 1. The Gladiators' Kitchen. Picture a training school, called a ludus. It is early morning. The sun rises over tiled roofs, spilling soft light into the courtyard. The sound of footsteps is faint, the shuffle of sandals on stone, the creak of wooden doors. Inside, the kitchen begins to stir. The kitchen is simple, but busy. There is no rush, only quiet preparation. A pot of barley simmers slowly, releasing a nutty, earthy smell. Slaves and cooks move calmly, stirring, grinding, setting out bowls. The air is warm with the scent of grain and smoke. Gladiators were sometimes called barley men. Barley was the heart of their diet. It was cheap, filling, and gave steady strength. Instead of fancy feasts, they ate thick porridges and dense bread. It was not glamorous, but it was practical, nourishing, and calm. In the corner, beans are soaking in a clay jar. They will soften through the morning, ready to be cooked later in the day. Legumes, peas, beans, lentils were also essential. They filled the stomach, provided steady energy, and kept the men from feeling weak. Simple, earthy foods, not rich, but sustaining. The cook adds herbs, fennel, coriander, maybe a pinch of parsley. The flavors are mild, but they add freshness to the plain porridge. Sometimes garlic is pressed and added, sharp and strong on the tongue. Sometimes onions, chopped finely, make the dish hearty. The kitchen smells of warm grain, herbs, and faint wood smoke. The men arrive one by one, their steps slow and heavy from training. They carry bowls, wooden spoons, sometimes just their hands cupped to hold food. They line up quietly, waiting for the cook to serve. There is no noise, no chatter, only the soft scrape of ladles against pots. Each man receives his share, nothing more, nothing less. The meal is not a feast. It is not meant for delight or indulgence. It is fuel, plain and heavy, filling the body and preparing it for exertion. As the gladiators sit in silence, they eat slowly, spoon by spoon, bite by bite. The food settles into them like a steady fire. Water is poured into clay cups. Sometimes a little sour wine is mixed in, watered down to soften the taste. It is not strong, not intoxicating. It is simply a drink to quench thirst, to balance the heavy grains. They sip slowly, letting the liquid wash down the porridge. Around the room, you can hear small sounds. The scrape of a spoon against a bowl, the quiet chew of bread, a faint cough, a shift on a wooden stool, the creak of leather straps. It is a calm, steady morning, with no rush. Each man eats enough to be filled, but not too much. A heavy stomach would make training difficult. The cooks know the measure, the balance of food and energy. Every bowl is served with care, portioned to give strength without weight. It is as much science as it is habit. This is the gladiator's kitchen, not a place of indulgence, but of routine. The men eat what is set before them, as they have every day before: grain, beans, bread, herbs, water. A simple rhythm, repeated, trusted, followed. The food is humble, but it is powerful. It fills the body, slowly, quietly, evenly. Not about taste, but about endurance. Every bite prepares them for the long day ahead. Every meal builds strength for the sand of the arena. And so, the kitchen falls silent again, the bowls emptied, the pots cooling. The men leave slowly, stepping back into the courtyard. The sun rises higher, the day begins, the training awaits, but the food remains within them, steady and strong. It is their foundation, their calm before the storm. Section 2. Bread, Barley, and the Power of Grains. In the world of gladiators, grain was not only food, it was the foundation of life. When the cooks began their day, one of the first tasks was grinding barley into flour. The sound of stone against stone filled the air, slow and steady. It was like a soft rhythm, marking the start of another day in the ludus. Barley was different from the wheat used in fine bread. It was heavier, darker, and less delicate. The bread it made was dense, chewy, and coarse. It did not crumble like white loaves. It sat firmly in the stomach, pressing down with slow strength. Gladiators were sometimes called hordearii, barley men. This nickname may have been used in jest, a gentle insult, but it also revealed the truth. Barley was the grain that kept them alive. It was their steady source of fuel, their companion before every fight. Imagine a large clay oven at the edge of the courtyard. Its walls glow faintly from the warmth within. Flat loaves of barley bread are slid inside, baking slowly on hot stones. The air carries the earthy smell of grain, mixed with smoke. It is not sweet or delicate, but it is warm, filling, and steady. The bread is baked in simple shapes: thick rounds, small flat cakes, sometimes rough slabs. There is no decoration, no sweetness, no softness. This bread is made for strength, not for pleasure. When it is pulled from the oven, it is firm and solid, like stone in the hand. Alongside the bread, porridge is prepared, a mixture of barley, water, and herbs, sometimes thickened with beans. The porridge is stirred slowly, wooden spoon circling again and again. The steam rises gently, softening the air. The cook tastes it, adds a pinch of salt, maybe a drop of oil, then stirs again. Gladiators sit with bowls in their hands, waiting quietly. Each spoonful is heavy but satisfying. The grains swell in the stomach, spreading warmth through the body. It is not a feast, but it is enough. Every man eats until he feels the slow weight of barley pressing down. There were reasons for this heavy diet. Barley gave endurance, not sudden bursts of energy. It filled the muscles with steady fuel, lasting through hours of training. It also made the body thicker, giving a layer of mass and weight. Some believed it even cushioned wounds, making the men harder to injure. The cooks sometimes mixed barley with other grains. Millet, emmer, and spelt appeared in the porridge. These additions gave variety, but the base remained barley. It was always barley that returned, day after day, meal after meal. It was the constant, the unshakable heart of their diet. Bread was often eaten plain, dipped in water, or soaked in thin wine. This softened its rough texture, making it easier to chew. Sometimes garlic or herbs were rubbed on the surface, giving a little flavor. But most of the time, the bread was eaten as it was, heavy and bare. Its purpose was strength, not taste. Barley also had a symbolic meaning. It was the grain of soldiers, farmers, and common people. It belonged to those who worked hard, fought hard, and endured. Wheat was the grain of the wealthy, the refined, the privileged. Barley was the grain of those who survived by effort and labor. The gladiators, though trained to entertain the crowds, lived closer to farmers than to nobles. Their food reminded them of this fact each day. Every bite of bread, every spoon of porridge, connected them to the soil. The barley fields stretched far beyond Rome, feeding soldiers and slaves alike. Gladiators ate the same grain, joining them in a quiet bond with the land. Sometimes barley was roasted before grinding. This gave it a richer flavor, nutty and slightly smoky. The porridge made from roasted barley was darker, thicker, and more filling. On days before a fight, this version might be served, giving an extra weight of strength. It settled deep in the body, almost like armor made of food. Picture the scene. The gladiators sit in silence, bowls in hand, eating their barley meal. The courtyard is quiet, except for the scrape of spoons and the faint crackle of fire. The smell of warm grain hangs in the air, simple and earthy. The men eat slowly, steadily, each mouthful a step toward strength. They do not rush. They simply eat and breathe and prepare. The cooks clear the bowls, wash the pots, and begin again for the next meal. The rhythm never ends. Barley, beans, bread, porridge. It continues day after day. There is no change, no luxury, no surprise. But there is strength, and that strength is enough. And so barley became more than food. It was the quiet foundation of gladiator life. It carried them through training, through waiting, through the long hours before combat. Every fight, every match, every cheer of the crowd was built on these grains. The barley men lived by their bread, and it never failed them. Section 3. Vegetables, legumes, and the gladiator's strength. After barley and bread, the gladiator's diet turned to vegetables and legumes. These foods were simple, earthy, and nourishing, quietly building strength and endurance. In the morning, before the sun rose fully, cooks began preparing beans, lentils, and peas. The clay jars bubbled gently over low flames, releasing a warm, earthy scent into the kitchen. The air was calm, filled with quiet anticipation of the day ahead. Legumes were soaked overnight, allowing the grains to soften slowly. By morning, they were tender, ready to be cooked in large pots. Sometimes they were boiled plainly in water, sometimes lightly seasoned with herbs like coriander, fennel, or dill. A little oil or garum, a fish-based sauce, might be added sparingly. The result was soft, nourishing, and filling, quietly sustaining the body. Beans and lentils were eaten alongside barley porridge or bread. Each bite offered slow, steady energy. The fiber and protein in these legumes strengthened muscles, kept the stomach full, and regulated the body's balance. They were not flashy foods, but they quietly did their work, preparing the men for long hours of training. The gladiators ate with patience, slowly chewing each mouthful, letting the warmth and nourishment sink in. Vegetables added another layer of sustenance. Cabbage, leeks, turnips, carrots, and onions appeared frequently. The cooks chopped them finely, stewed them gently, or roasted them slowly in clay ovens. Sometimes a little garlic was crushed and added, its aroma spreading gently through the kitchen. Sometimes herbs were stirred in, releasing soft fragrances into the quiet room. The vegetables were simple, but they provided minerals and vitamins essential for strong bones and steady muscles. Cabbage leaves were tough and fibrous. Leeks added sweetness. Carrots brought earthiness. And onions gave depth. Altogether, they balanced the heavy grains and legumes, forming a quiet, complete diet. No spices overwhelmed the senses. Everything was gentle, slow, and steady, nourishing both body and mind. Some gladiators ate wild greens. Dandelion leaves, chickweed, and bitter herbs might appear from nearby fields or gardens. These added variety and quiet strength. They were rarely cooked for long, often simply washed, chopped, and served with bread or porridge. The flavors were subtle, sometimes sharp, but always sustaining. Water was poured alongside every meal, sometimes slightly salted, sometimes mixed with diluted wine. The drink balanced the fiber of beans and vegetables, aiding digestion and keeping the body calm. Even in this simple hydration, the cooks paid attention to detail. Every cup was measured and served with care, quietly supporting the men's training. The preparation of legumes and vegetables was a slow, rhythmic process. The cook stirred the pots, lifted the lids, and added herbs in careful measures. The steam curled into the air, warm and soft. The aroma invited attention and mindfulness, as if the food itself was a meditation. The men absorbed the smells and warmth as they ate, each bite a gentle, steadying ritual. Sometimes, before a big fight, special emphasis was placed on these foods. The cooks might prepare extra lentils or add roasted chickpeas. The grains were enriched with protein, the vegetables with vitamins, forming a quiet, balanced meal. Even small portions were enough to give energy and endurance. The gladiators did not eat to indulge. They ate to prepare, to nourish, to steady the body for the strain of the arena. Legumes and vegetables were also thought to have medicinal value. Cabbage could soothe the stomach, beans strengthened the blood, and garlic helped fight minor illnesses. The diet was not only practical, but quietly protective. It helped the men withstand the rigors of training, the sun, the sweat, and the wear of repeated exercise. Every bite was a preparation, a quiet step toward strength and resilience. The dining halls were calm. The gladiators ate slowly, bowls in hand, sometimes dipping bread into the thick legume stews. The kitchen smelled of earth, warm porridge, cooked vegetables, and faint herbs. No one rushed. No one spoke loudly. Every action was gentle, deliberate, and mindful. Imagine the routine: lifting a spoon, tasting the warm lentils, feeling the fiber and density settle into the stomach. The eyes might wander to the courtyard, watching a leaf float on the breeze, a bird in the distance. The mind is calm, the body nourished. Each bite brings focus, each meal builds strength, each day prepares for another training session. The quiet repetition becomes meditative, teaching patience and mindful attention. After the meal, the pots are cleared, the leftovers stored carefully. Clay jars are washed, herbs dried, and vegetables chopped for the next session. Everything moves slowly, quietly, as if the rhythm of life in the ludus mirrors the rhythm of the meals themselves. Barley, bread, legumes, and vegetables, these are the staples that make the gladiator strong, steady, and ready. And so the men rise from their bowls, their stomachs filled, their bodies nourished, their minds calm. They are ready to step into the training yards, the sun above, the sand below, muscles steady and strong, all because of the quiet, careful preparation of their simple, earthy, and calming food. Section 4. Drinks, Tonics, and the Gladiators' Rituals. Before a fight, gladiators did more than eat. They drank, slowly, carefully, in quiet rituals that prepared both body and mind. Water was the simplest and most common drink. It was fresh, clear, and cool, often brought from nearby fountains or wells. The sound of water pouring into clay cups was soft, gentle, and calming, like a quiet stream. Sometimes, water was mixed with a little wine. But the wine was never strong. It was diluted, sometimes half water, half wine. Its purpose was not to intoxicate, but to soothe the stomach and refresh the body. Even a sip was taken slowly, mindfully, with attention to the feeling of liquid moving through the throat. Herbal tonics were also common. Cooks and trainers would prepare simple brews from fennel, coriander, or sage. These were thought to strengthen the muscles, soothe minor aches, and steady the mind. A faint aroma rose from the clay pot as the herbs steeped. The scent itself was calming, encouraging patience and focus. Barley water was another important drink. It was made by boiling barley in water until it thickened slightly, releasing its earthy flavor. Some gladiators drank it warm, others cooled it in clay cups. Barley water carried nutrients and slowly released energy into the body. It was comforting, familiar, and grounding, like a quiet whisper before the exertion of combat. The act of drinking was almost ceremonial. Gladiators held their cups with care, noticing the weight and temperature. They lifted each sip slowly, feeling the liquid move steadily through them. Even small sounds, the gentle slosh of liquid, the soft scrape of clay against the lid, were noted calmly. These quiet rituals connected the body, the mind, and the surrounding environment. Some gladiators drank herbal infusions made from roots and seeds. These could include barley grass, licorice root, or sesame seeds. The drinks were mild, not bitter, releasing gentle flavors into the mouth. They were believed to strengthen bones, calm nerves, and help with digestion. Every swallow became part of a quiet preparation for the challenges ahead. Gladiators also had small rituals with their food and drink. Before sipping barley water or herbal teas, they might pause to stretch slowly. A gentle inhale, a deliberate exhale, a feeling of muscles waking with the warmth of the drink. The mind and body aligned with each movement, each sip, each breath. It was not hurried, it was deliberate, thoughtful, and calming. The courtyard where drinks were shared was quiet. The morning sun filtered through leaves, casting soft shadows. The men sat or stood in calm attention, their senses attuned to gentle movements and subtle sounds. Even the faint crackle of a clay pot on the fire became a rhythm in the background. Some drinks included salt or minerals. Gladiators believed that these helped maintain hydration and balance electrolytes. A little salt added to water or barley broth was carefully measured, never too strong. It quietly refreshed the body, supporting muscles and endurance. Even these small adjustments were part of a careful, thoughtful preparation. The combination of barley water, herbal teas, and lightly salted drinks created a slow, steady flow of energy. It was different from food, lighter, more subtle, but essential. The liquids prepared the stomach, calmed the nerves, and ensured steady strength. Each sip reinforced patience, focus, and mindful presence. The gladiators moved through these rituals as naturally as breathing. The calm preparation before a fight also included brief stretches. Arms, shoulders, and legs moved slowly, muscles loosening with gentle tension. The body felt light but steady, grounded by the nourishment of barley, beans, and water. Even small movements became noticeable: the sway of a foot, the slight bend of an elbow, the roll of a shoulder. Every action was integrated with the drinks, the food, and the quiet rhythm of attention. Sometimes the trainers gave advice along with the drinks. Words were spoken softly, instructions or reminders about stance, focus, or breathing. Nothing loud, nothing harsh. The tone was calm, measured, blending with the ritual of nourishment and mindfulness. The men listened, sipped, and stretched, preparing quietly for the physical challenges ahead. Imagine a gladiator holding a clay cup of barley water. The sun warms the skin. The breeze carries faint aromas from herbs and baked bread. Each sip settles in the stomach, warm and gentle. Every muscle feels supported, every nerve calm and alert. The mind drifts slowly, observing, feeling, noticing, ready but relaxed. By the end of this preparation, the body is hydrated, the mind attentive, and the muscles awake. The small rituals of drinks, tonics, and slow stretching complete a quiet circle of readiness. The gladiator is not rushed. The preparation itself becomes a meditation, a calm, steady rhythm before the exertion of combat. The courtyard, the kitchen, the herbs, and the soft beverages all work together to prepare the man gently for the arena. And so, with every sip, every stretch, every inhaled breath, the gladiator becomes grounded. The rituals of drinks and tonics are subtle, almost invisible, yet profoundly effective. They calm the mind, steady the body, and create a quiet strength that carries into every movement and every step. In this quiet preparation, the gladiator finds both patience and power. Section 5. Special pre-fight meals and energy boosters. The day before a fight, gladiators often had slightly different meals. These meals were designed to give extra energy and endurance. The cooks prepared them carefully, knowing each ingredient contributed to strength. Nothing was rushed, nothing extravagant. Every step was deliberate, quiet, and calming, like the rhythm of a gentle tide. One common addition was chickpeas. They were boiled slowly, sometimes mashed with a little oil or herbs. The texture was soft but firm, easy to digest yet nourishing. Chickpeas released energy steadily, filling the muscles with gentle, enduring strength. The aroma was earthy and mild, blending with the warmth of barley porridge and roasted bread. Gladiators sometimes ate figs or dates. Dried and soft, they offered sweetness without overwhelming the stomach. A few pieces were enough to supply energy for long training sessions. The taste was gentle, the sweetness subtle, never sharp or heavy. The slow sweetness mirrored the calm rhythm of the day, the preparation for combat ahead. Cheese was occasionally part of the meal. It was fresh, soft, and lightly salted. The texture was creamy, the flavor mild, giving a quiet richness to the diet. Cheese provided protein and calcium, supporting strong bones and steady endurance. Even in small amounts, it contributed to the gladiators' careful balance of nutrients. Some gladiators drank vinegar with water, a common tonic. The sourness was faint, not strong, but it was thought to support digestion and prevent fatigue. The drink was sipped slowly, like a meditation. The taste lingered gently, a reminder that even small, subtle actions could support strength. It was both practical and calming, preparing the body without stress. On the day before the arena, meals were eaten in quiet company. Men sat together, bowls and cups in hand, watching the sunlight move through the courtyard. The air was warm, carrying faint scents of herbs, roasted bread, and soft steam from porridge. They ate slowly, deliberately, allowing each bite to settle. No one spoke loudly. The calm ritual of nourishment continued undisturbed. Sometimes, gladiators had boiled or roasted vegetables with these pre-fight meals. Carrots, leeks, and cabbage, softened by slow cooking, released their natural sweetness. A touch of oil or a sprinkle of herbs enhanced flavor without overwhelming the stomach. These vegetables provided vitamins and minerals, quietly supporting the muscles and endurance. Each mouthful became a small step toward preparation, steadying both body and mind. Salt was added carefully to these meals. A pinch here or there helped balance electrolytes, supporting hydration during long training sessions. Even small adjustments were deliberate, measured, and calm. The attention to detail reflected the care that went into every aspect of gladiator life. Every ingredient was chosen to serve strength, endurance, and quiet readiness. Some gladiators included nuts or seeds in their meals. These were not large portions, just a handful to provide slow energy and healthy fats. Sesame seeds, pine nuts, or almonds were common. They were eaten slowly, one by one, a subtle and calming addition to the main foods. The rhythm of chewing and swallowing became part of the quiet meditation of eating. Honey sometimes appeared as a light sweetener. It was a small amount, drizzled on bread or mixed into porridge. The sweetness was soft, natural, and gentle. It gave a quick energy boost while remaining easy on the stomach. The taste lingered quietly, a small pleasure within a practical diet. Even water was carefully managed. Too much could weigh down the stomach. Too little would leave the body tired. Gladiators sipped slowly, timing each swallow with the rhythm of the meal. They felt the cool liquid move steadily through them, calming and balancing. It was a quiet, mindful process, preparing them for the exertion of the next day. The day before combat, the final meal often included boiled barley porridge. It was dense, warm, and gently filling, exactly as it had been for months or years. The familiarity of the grain, combined with subtle variations like herbs, legumes, or nuts, provided reassurance. The body recognized strength in the routine. The mind recognized calm in the repetition. Every bite reinforced the quiet endurance required for the arena. The ritual of the pre-fight meal was as much about the mind as the body. The calm atmosphere, the slow movement, a gentle attention to taste and texture all prepared the gladiator psychologically. The men learned to eat without haste, to feel the nourishment and to integrate it into their awareness. The combination of barley, legumes, vegetables, and small energy boosters formed a complete, balanced, and calming preparation. Imagine the scene: a courtyard bathed in morning light. Clay bowls steam gently. Gladiators sit quietly, tasting chickpeas, sipping barley water, and chewing soft bread. The scents of herbs, roasted grains, and faint sweetness fill the air. Every breath, every sip. Every bite becomes part of a gentle rhythm of preparation. By the end of the meal, the men feel steady, calm, and ready. The body is nourished, the mind focused, and the muscles relaxed but strong. The energy for the next day's challenge has settled quietly within. And so the quiet rituals of special pre-fight meals bring calm, strength, and readiness to the gladiators. Every bite, every sip, every simple, earthy flavor supports their endurance, their patience, and their calm presence. Section 6. Morning Training Snacks and Recovery Foods. The mornings in the Ludus began quietly. The sun rose slowly over tiled rooftops, casting gentle light across the training yard. Gladiators moved carefully, stretching their limbs, feeling the warmth of their muscles awaken. Before they trained intensely, they often had small, simple snacks to prepare the body. These were not meals, but gentle energy boosters, quiet and deliberate. Dates and figs were favorites for morning snacks. Soft, dried, and sweet, they were easy to eat quickly. A handful provided a slow release of energy, helping the body remain steady during the first hours of training. The sweetness was subtle, calming, and almost meditative. As the men ate, the aroma of fruit mingled softly with the earthy smell of barley porridge from the previous meal. Nuts were also commonly eaten. Almonds, walnuts, and pine nuts gave quiet protein and healthy fats. The texture was firm, requiring slow chewing, which encouraged mindfulness. Each bite felt substantial, yet did not weigh down the stomach. The men learned to balance energy and ease, knowing the importance of calm preparation. Sometimes, small portions of barley bread were included. Dipped lightly in water or spread with a thin layer of honey, it became easy to digest. The bread provided slow, steady fuel, complementing the sweetness of figs and the richness of nuts. Nothing was hurried, nothing extravagant. Even the smallest snack was part of a carefully measured ritual. Clay cups of diluted wine or water accompanied the snack. The liquid was sipped slowly, supporting hydration and comfort. It washed down the small bites, soothing the stomach and preparing the muscles for exertion. The combination of food and drink was quiet, deliberate, and effective. Even these simple moments carried a sense of calm and mindfulness. Gladiators sometimes added herbal infusions. Fennel, coriander, or a hint of sage might steep gently in water. The aroma rose slowly, soft and calming. Drinking these tonics before training was a subtle ritual. It reminded the men of balance, strength, and patience, reinforcing both body and mind. Recovery foods were just as important as morning snacks. After intense training, the body needed gentle nourishment. Cooks would prepare boiled lentils, soft vegetables, or lightly roasted chickpeas. These foods replenished energy, soothed muscles, and restored calm. Each ingredient was chosen with care, aimed at supporting the quiet healing of the body. Olive oil was sometimes added to recovery meals. A thin drizzle over vegetables or legumes made them easier to digest. It also provided healthy fats, supporting endurance and warmth in the muscles. The taste was mild, gentle, and familiar, quietly grounding the men. Every flavor, every texture, worked in harmony with the body's needs. Gladiators practiced mindfulness even while eating recovery foods. They chewed slowly, noticing the warmth of legumes, the softness of cooked vegetables, the smoothness of oil on the tongue. the quiet courtyard, the faint hum of water in clay pots, and the subtle scent of herbs combined into a soothing atmosphere. These moments were restful, even as the body regained strength. Sometimes, after recovery meals, small snacks were prepared for later in the morning. Roasted chickpeas, lightly salted, or small pieces of fruit were wrapped carefully for later use. The gladiator could carry them to the training yard, eating slowly between exercises. It was not indulgence, only steady, mindful nourishment. Every bite contributed to endurance, patience, and calm focus. The preparation of these foods was deliberate. Cooks measured portions carefully, ensuring the men had neither too little nor too much. Even the way foods were arranged on wooden plates or in clay bowls encouraged order and calm. The men noticed these details, quietly appreciating the care in the process. It was part of their training, part of their mental discipline. During these morning routines, the air was cool, the sun warm, and the sounds gentle. Footsteps across the yard were soft. The scrape of spoons, the faint crackle of a fire, the whisper of a breeze, all blended into a calm background. Even the smallest sounds became part of the rhythm of nourishment and preparation. The gladiators ate and moved in harmony with the quiet world around them. Morning snacks and recovery foods were about more than strength. They reinforced calmness, patience, and mindful attention to the body. Each ingredient was selected not for taste alone, but for steady energy, comfort, and endurance. The ritual of eating, sipping, and observing became a meditation in itself. It supported the gladiators physically, mentally, and quietly, almost imperceptibly, spiritually. By mid-morning, the small snacks had done their work. The body was ready, the muscles warmed, the mind focused. The gladiator could step into the training yard, perform exercises, lift weights, or practice movements without strain. Every small bite had contributed to this calm readiness. Every sip, every chew, every slow swallow had strengthened the foundation for the day's challenges. And so, morning snacks and recovery foods were more than sustenance. They were part of a carefully woven routine that nurtured endurance, patience, and quiet strength. Each flavor, texture, and sip supported the body, the mind, and the spirit. The gladiator moved through the morning, nourished, calm, and ready for the exercises that would prepare him for the arena. Section 7. Post-training porridges, herbal remedies, and rest rituals. After the morning training, the gladiators returned to the ludus. Their muscles were warm, slightly tired, but eager for nourishment. This was the time for post-training porridge, a quiet ritual designed to restore energy and calm the body. The cooks had already begun preparing it, stirring slowly over gentle flames. The scent of cooked grains and faint herbs filled the air, soft and comforting. The porridge was usually made from barley, sometimes mixed with spelt or millet. It was thick, warm, and filling, not sweet, but earthy and steady. The texture was smooth, with occasional small grains that added subtle chewiness. Each mouthful settled gently in the stomach, providing slow, lasting energy. The aroma itself had a calming effect, signaling rest and recovery. Sometimes the cooks added legumes, finely mashed, to the porridge. Chickpeas or lentils created gentle protein that supported the muscles after strenuous exercise. The combination of grains and legumes was quiet, effective, and nourishing. It allowed the body to rebuild slowly, without strain or hurry. Each bite reinforced a feeling of calm, patience, and quiet strength. Herbs were a subtle but important addition. Fennel, sage, and coriander were common, sometimes a hint of rosemary or thyme. The aroma was soft, never overwhelming, blending with the warm steam rising from the porridge. These herbs were believed to aid digestion, soothe minor aches, and relax the mind. The gladiators felt the effect gently, almost imperceptibly, as they ate. Post-training drinks accompanied the porridge. Water was fresh and clear, sipped slowly between bites. Barley water or lightly diluted herbal teas were sometimes offered. These liquids balanced the dense porridge, supporting hydration and steady energy. Each sip was deliberate, a quiet continuation of the nourishment ritual. Cooks sometimes prepared small, mild broths. Vegetable stock with leeks, carrots, and herbs was lightly salted and warmed. A few drops of olive oil added subtle richness. The broth was soothing, easy to digest, and calming to the muscles. It filled the stomach gently, supporting the body as it recovered from training. The act of eating and drinking after training was slow and deliberate. Gladiators focused on the textures, the warmth, and the flavors. Even simple touches like the smooth edge of a clay bowl or the gentle steam rising were noticed. The quiet atmosphere encouraged mindfulness, allowing the body and mind to synchronize. Every bite became a meditation, every sip a subtle act of restoration. After the meal, rest became the next ritual. Some gladiators reclined on straw mats, legs stretched, arms relaxed. Others sat quietly, observing the sun move across the courtyard, listening to the faint hum of activity. The body absorbed the nourishment and the mind drifted gently, calm and attentive. The combination of porridge, broth, and water supported both recovery and mental focus. Sometimes, small herbal remedies were given after training. Infusions of mint, chamomile, or mild roots were consumed slowly. They eased fatigue, supported digestion, and encouraged a quiet calm. Even the gentle aroma of these herbs was soothing, blending with the soft scents of warm grains and vegetables. The gladiators learned to appreciate these subtle effects, feeling them in the body as a quiet, restorative presence. Recovery snacks were sometimes prepared for later in the morning. Soft fruits, roasted chickpeas, or small amounts of nuts were wrapped in cloth or placed in small clay bowls. These could be eaten slowly, during stretches, or while observing fellow gladiators. The rhythm of small, gentle bites kept the body balanced, preventing sudden fatigue. Every portion was measured carefully, supporting endurance without overwhelming the stomach. The courtyard remained calm, even as men moved quietly between tasks. The sounds of footsteps, rustling straw, and distant water created a gentle backdrop. Every motion was slow and deliberate, as if time itself had relaxed in the warm air. Even breathing became mindful, steady, and rhythmic, aligning with the calm rituals of nourishment. This was a time to restore, to prepare for the next exercises, and to let the body absorb strength quietly. Some gladiators practiced meditation during this time. Eyes closed, slow breaths, attention to the warmth of the body, and the feeling of full stomach. The post-training rituals became mental as well as physical preparation. Food, drink, herbs, and quiet movement combined to create a gentle focus. The mind learned patience, awareness, and subtle alertness. Even small details mattered. The placement of bowls, the arrangement of mats, and the order of meals contributed to calm. The cooks, trainers, and men themselves maintained a quiet rhythm, honoring the simplicity and purpose of each action. Everything moved slowly, carefully, and thoughtfully. The post-training rituals were more than food. They were a meditation in nourishment, recovery, and mental clarity. By the end of this quiet morning, the body felt replenished. Muscles relaxed but strong, the stomach steady, and the mind calm and focused. The gladiator was ready for the day's next session, aware of every step, every breath, and every movement. The rituals of porridge, herbal remedies, and mindful rest reinforced endurance and quiet strength. The rhythm of nourishment and calm continued seamlessly into the rest of the day. Section 8. Midday Meals, Quiet Preparation and Ingredient Variations. As the sun climbed higher, the gladiators prepared for their midday meal. The training yard quieted for a short time, and the kitchen staff began gentle preparation. Clay pots were lifted, filled with warm water, and set to simmer over low flames. The air carried a mixture of earthy aromas, grains, cooked vegetables, and faint herbs. Everything moved slowly, deliberately, creating a calming rhythm in the midday heat. Barley remained the foundation of the meal. Cooked slowly, it released a subtle, nutty scent. Sometimes mixed with spelt or millet, it formed a thick porridge that was soft but sustaining. A small amount of salt or honey might be added for balance. The men ate slowly, tasting the warmth and texture, letting each mouthful settle comfortably in the stomach. Vegetables provided gentle variation: leeks, carrots, cabbage. And turnips were cooked carefully to maintain tenderness. The aroma was soothing, warm, and familiar, filling the room with quiet reassurance. Occasionally, a small amount of garlic or herbs was added, releasing subtle fragrances into the soft air. Each flavor was gentle, never overpowering, blending seamlessly with grains and legumes. Legumes were sometimes incorporated into the midday meal. Lentils, chickpeas, or beans were simmered in water with tiny hints of herbs. The texture was soft, the taste earthy, and the effect quietly nourishing. These small variations allowed the men to maintain energy for the second half of their day. Every bite became a gentle contribution to endurance, strength, and calm focus. Small amounts of protein were included carefully. Soft cheeses or lightly roasted nuts provided subtle nourishment. They were eaten slowly, allowing the body to absorb strength without feeling heavy or sluggish. Even minor additions were part of a considered plan, designed to keep muscles fueled and minds alert. Nothing was hasty, nothing forced. Every ingredient served purposefully and quietly. Water and mild barley drinks accompanied the meal. They balanced the food, supported hydration, and helped digestion. Some gladiators drank diluted herbal infusions alongside their meal. Fennel, sage, or coriander softened the palate and soothed the stomach. The gentle steam and aroma added to the meditative atmosphere. The preparation of the midday meal was deliberate and unhurried. Cooks measured portions carefully, stirred slowly, and lifted lids with gentle precision. The sound of steam escaping from pots, the soft clinking of clay bowls, and the quiet scrape of spoons created a calming rhythm. Even the act of arranging bowls and plates became a mindful gesture. The men absorbed the care, feeling the stability and attention reflected in each element. Some variations in ingredients were introduced subtly. Occasionally, small amounts of wild herbs or greens appeared. Dandelion leaves, chickweed, or sorrel added freshness and quiet strength. The flavors were mild but noticeable, enhancing nutrition and variety. These small additions reflected a careful balance between consistency and variety. During the meal, the courtyard remained peaceful. The sun warmed the stone floors, casting gentle light on the men as they ate. Footsteps were soft, conversations minimal, and the air carried a faint scent of roasted grains. Even the distant clatter of training in another area was muted, absorbed by the calm atmosphere. The rhythm of eating, sipping, and breathing became soothing, almost meditative. Midday meals also included small energy boosters. Dates, figs, or soft fruits were eaten quietly alongside porridge or legumes. They provided gentle sweetness, releasing energy slowly over the next hours of activity. Nuts or seeds were sometimes sprinkled over grains, offering texture, flavor, and steady nutrition. Every addition supported the body without disrupting calm focus. Portion sizes were controlled carefully. Too much food would weigh down the stomach. Too little would leave the body tired. The cooks and trainers monitored each bowl, ensuring the men received exactly what they needed. Even in small quantities, each ingredient contributed to endurance, mental focus, and physical readiness. The careful balance reflected the thoughtful attention woven into every aspect of gladiator life. Gladiators ate slowly, noticing textures, flavors, and temperatures. Each bite carried a quiet reassurance, a sense of preparation, and a subtle meditation. The warmth of the grains, the soft chew of vegetables, and the smoothness of nuts or cheese all combined to create a sense of well-being. The courtyard, the kitchen, the aroma of cooking, all reinforced a steady rhythm of calm and readiness. The midday meal, though simple, became a ritual of nourishment, mindfulness, and quiet strength. By the end of the meal, the body felt settled and replenished. Muscles were fueled, the stomach was comfortably full, and the mind remained alert yet calm. Even the simplest foods, combined in careful preparation, offered endurance for the next hours of practice. The midday meal was not only sustenance, it was a gentle, deliberate ritual that reinforced patience, focus, and subtle energy. Every spoonful, every sip, and every breath became part of a quiet, sustaining rhythm. The calm of the midday meal lingered even after the last bite. The men rose slowly, feeling grounded, nourished, and ready for the afternoon routines. The careful variations in ingredients, the gentle rhythms of cooking and eating, and the mindful attention to the body all contributed to steady strength. Even the quiet simplicity of the meal carried a deep, subtle power. The gladiator moved forward with calm endurance, prepared to continue his training with gentle determination. Section 9. Afternoon Snacks, Restorative Rituals, and Preparation for Evening Exercises. As the afternoon sun warmed the training yard, the gladiators took a pause. The morning routines and midday meal had replenished their strength. Now, small snacks and gentle restorative rituals prepared them for the later exercises. The courtyard was quiet, almost meditative, with only faint sounds of rustling leaves and distant footsteps. Even the air seemed softer in the afternoon warmth, inviting calm attention. Small portions of roasted chickpeas were common. They were lightly salted, providing slow energy without overfilling the stomach. Crunchy yet gentle, they required deliberate chewing. Each bite was a small, calming rhythm, a quiet focus before the next period of exertion. The aroma of roasted legumes mingled with faint herbal scents, creating a soothing atmosphere. Soft fruits, such as figs or dates, were also eaten during this time. They provided subtle sweetness and slow energy, gently releasing nourishment into the body. The taste was mild, comforting, and familiar. Even a few pieces brought a sense of calm readiness. The gladiators learned to savor each bite, noticing texture and flavor as part of their quiet routine. Sometimes nuts were added to afternoon snacks. Almonds, walnuts, or pine nuts offered protein and healthy fats, supporting steady endurance. They were eaten slowly, one by one, integrating rhythm and mindfulness. Each small mouthful contributed to balance, strength, and subtle focus. The act of eating became a gentle meditation, a quiet preparation for the evening exercises. Herbal infusions were commonly served alongside snacks. Fennel, sage, or mild coriander leaves steeped in warm water created soft, calming aromas. The men sipped slowly, noting the gentle warmth as it flowed down the throat. Even the smallest movements, raising the cup, breathing in the scent, or noticing the steam, added to a feeling of centered calm. The drink reinforced hydration, digestion, and quiet focus for the next part of the day. Light stretches often followed the snack. Arms, legs, and torsos moved slowly, muscles lengthening and warming. Breathing was deliberate, aligning with the rhythm of body and mind. The soft, rhythmic inhalations and exhalations blended with the faint sounds of cooking, wind, and footsteps in the yard. These slow, mindful movements prepared the body for evening training without strain. Sometimes, clay pots of warm barley water or thin broths were available. They were sipped slowly, cooling the body and providing steady energy. The warmth eased minor fatigue, soothed muscles, and supported concentration. Even the quiet sound of liquid moving in the cup became part of the calm ritual. Each sip, each small pause, reinforced patience and readiness. The afternoon snacks were not hurried. Gladiators ate sitting or standing quietly, noticing texture, flavor, and aroma. Even small details, the coolness of a cup, the warmth of a bite, or the gentle steam rising, were observed calmly. The act of nourishment became a meditative rhythm. Every gesture, every taste, every breath contributed to subtle preparation for the evening's exercises. During this time, trainers sometimes offered guidance in soft tones. Instructions were measured, gentle, and encouraging. They focused on calm movements, slow transitions, and maintaining endurance without strain. The voice of the trainer blended with the quiet of the yard, becoming part of the calming rhythm. Even words contributed to mindfulness and focus, rather than agitation or tension. Recovery rituals also included small massages or gentle muscle rubs. Trainers used olive oil or herbal ointments, warmed slightly, to relax tense areas. The hands moved slowly and deliberately, easing stiffness and encouraging blood flow. The gladiator felt the warmth, the pressure, and the subtle release of tension. This quiet tactile ritual supported strength, endurance, and mental clarity. Sometimes the men would walk slowly through the courtyard after snacks, bare feet on stone or dirt, feeling texture and temperature. The movement was deliberate, gentle, and rhythmic, like a quiet meditation in motion. Even the sun's warmth and the breeze against the skin were noticed fully, calming the senses. Each step, each breath, reinforced awareness, focus, and readiness for later training. Some gladiators practiced subtle mental routines at this time. They visualized movements, reviewed exercises, and imagined sequences without rushing. The mind remained calm, alert, and observant. Combined with snacks, herbal drinks, and restorative gestures, this mental focus became part of the body's quiet preparation. The afternoon became a slow, steady rhythm of nourishment, awareness, and gentle readiness. Small portions of soft bread or lightly baked barley cakes were sometimes added to afternoon snacks. They provided steady carbohydrates, releasing energy gradually. Each bite was deliberate, calming, and satisfying, blending with legumes, nuts, and fruits. The flavor and texture were comforting, familiar, and grounding. Even the simplest foods supported both body and mind in quiet, deliberate ways. By the end of the afternoon ritual, the gladiator was balanced, nourished, and calm. Muscles were relaxed but ready, the stomach gently full, and the mind focused. The combination of snacks, hydration, gentle stretching, and meditation created a subtle strength. The body and mind moved together in harmony, ready for the evening exercises and any additional training. Every quiet moment, every careful bite, and every mindful sip had contributed to endurance, awareness, and steady calm. Section 10. Evening Meals, Ritualistic Preparation for Sleep, and Subtle Recovery Practices. As the sun began to lower in the sky, the gladiators returned from afternoon activities. The training yard quieted once more, and the cooks prepared the evening meal. This meal was gentle, nourishing, and intended to support recovery while preparing the body for rest. The air carried a soft warmth, mingled with the aromas of grains, vegetables, and subtle herbs. Even the faint sound of distant water or soft footsteps added to the calm atmosphere. Barley porridge remained a central element. Thick, warm, and comforting, it filled the stomach without burdening it. Sometimes mixed with small amounts of spelt or lentils, it offered protein and energy. Each bite settled slowly, supporting muscles and quieting fatigue from the day's exertions. The aroma of cooked grains rose softly, calming the mind even as it nourished the body. Vegetables were often included, cooked gently to retain flavor and tenderness. Carrots, leeks, cabbage, and turnips softened in warm water, sometimes with a touch of olive oil. The scents were mild, almost sweet, blending with the earthy aroma of grains. Every ingredient was chosen to soothe, restore, and replenish. The flavors were subtle, familiar, and deeply comforting, like a quiet lullaby for the body. Soft cheeses or small amounts of nuts were added occasionally. They provided protein, healthy fats, and a gentle richness to the meal. Each bite was eaten slowly, allowing the body to absorb the energy and nutrients. The textures were comforting, the flavors gentle, enhancing the calm, restorative qualities of the meal. Even the simplest foods contributed to the quiet rhythm of recovery. Herbal infusions were often included with the evening meal. Chamomile, mint, or fennel steeped gently in warm water, releasing subtle aromas. The men sipped slowly, feeling warmth flow through the body, calming muscles, and preparing the mind for rest. The aroma itself encouraged relaxation, quiet focus, and a sense of gentle closure to the day. Even breathing became slower and more deliberate, aligning with the rhythm of the meal. Some gladiators drank thin vegetable or barley broths alongside the meal. The warmth and subtle flavors soothed the stomach, supported hydration, and replenished energy. Each sip was mindful, a continuation of the calm rituals established throughout the day. The combination of grains, legumes, vegetables, and mild drinks created a balanced, restorative meal. Even small gestures, holding a bowl, noticing steam, or feeling warmth, reinforced a sense of calm and readiness for sleep. After eating, small restorative practices began. Muscles were gently massaged with olive oil or herbal ointments. Trainers applied slow, deliberate pressure to ease tension and encourage circulation. The sensation of worn oil on warm skin, combined with careful movements, created a quiet relaxation. Even minor discomforts or soreness were softened, absorbed, and released through these slow gestures. Some gladiators practiced quiet stretching or yoga-like movements. Slow arm rotations, gentle bends, and leg stretches aligned the body for rest. The focus was on subtle tension release, smooth breathing, and mindfulness of every muscle. The courtyard was filled with soft sunlight, faint shadows, and calm, deliberate motion. Each movement contributed to a sense of readiness, relaxation, and quiet strength. Even the arrangement of personal spaces reflected care and calm. Straw mats were straightened, weapons set aside, and clothes folded neatly. The order of objects created a sense of control and stability, which added to mental calm. Everything had a place. Every small action reinforced quiet mindfulness. The gladiator moved slowly, deliberately, as if the environment itself guided the rhythm of rest. Some men practiced meditation or visualization before sleep. They reviewed the day, imagining movements, techniques, and sequences in a calm, deliberate manner. The mind stayed focused yet relaxed, integrating lessons learned and reinforcing endurance. Combined with the restorative evening meal and gentle muscle care, this practice created a sense of completion. Every thought, every breath, every subtle muscle movement contributed to quiet readiness for rest. Even small details mattered. A sip of warm barley water, a single bite of soft bread, or the faint aroma of herbs became part of the ritual. The slow rhythm of eating, massaging, and breathing reinforced calmness and focus. The body and mind aligned, preparing for uninterrupted sleep and the recovery necessary for the next day. The gladiator learned to appreciate subtlety, patience, and quiet attention as much as strength and skill. The final moments before sleep were serene. Clay bowls were washed, mats smoothed, and shadows lengthened across the courtyard. The warmth of the day lingered gently on the skin, and the air cooled slowly as evening deepened. Gladiators lay on straw mats, muscles relaxed, stomachs full, and minds calm. The gentle rituals of evening meals and subtle recovery practices guided the body and mind toward rest. By the end of the day, the gladiator was nourished, balanced, and prepared. Every bite, sip, and gesture had reinforced strength, endurance, and calmness. Even in the simplicity of food, water, herbs, and quiet practices, the body absorbed energy and the mind absorbed focus. The rhythms of nourishment, restoration, and preparation for sleep became a gentle meditation. And so, each evening closed with quiet readiness, calm strength, and gentle anticipation of the next day. Section 11. Nighttime rituals, light snacks, and mental preparation before sleep. As darkness slowly settled over the training yard, a gentle calm filled the air. The sun had dipped below the rooftops, leaving soft shadows and a cooler temperature. Gladiators moved quietly, attending to small rituals that would prepare the body and mind for sleep. The evening's main meal had nourished muscles and replenished energy, but small practices remained. These rituals were subtle, deliberate, and designed to support gentle recovery through the night. Some gladiators consumed light snacks before sleep. Soft fruits, like figs or pomegranates, were common choices. They were eaten slowly, offering gentle sweetness without overwhelming the stomach. Even a few pieces provided nutrients, subtle energy, and a calming ritual to close the day. The aroma of soft, ripened fruit mixed faintly with the scent of straw mats and evening air. Occasionally, small amounts of nuts or seeds accompanied these snacks. Almonds, walnuts, or pumpkin seeds offered protein and healthy fats. Each bite was chewed slowly and deliberately, integrating nutrition with mindful attention. Even the crunch of a nut became part of the rhythm, a small meditative focus before rest. The combination of fruits and nuts created a sense of balance and quiet satisfaction. Herbal teas were also part of nighttime routines. Chamomile, mint, or a hint of lemon balm steeped gently in warm water, releasing soft aromas. The steam rose slowly, carrying soothing scents that encouraged relaxation. Gladiators sipped carefully, noting warmth in the throat and chest, supporting digestion and calming the mind. Even the act of holding the cup, feeling its smooth surface, added to a sense of grounding and calm. Some gladiators applied light muscle care before sleep. Warm olive oil or herbal ointments were rubbed slowly into arms, legs, and shoulders. The hands moved deliberately, easing tension and encouraging circulation. The gentle pressure and warmth created a sense of release, helping the body transition from activity to rest. Even the smallest movements contributed to calm focus, relaxation, and quiet readiness for sleep. Foot baths were occasionally used, especially for those who had spent long hours on hard stone or dirt. Warm water, lightly scented with herbs, soothed tired feet. The sensation of water against the skin was gentle, comforting, and restorative. Gladiators moved slowly, appreciating each subtle ripple, each shift of temperature. The quiet ritual became meditative, supporting both body and mind. Nighttime rituals also included quiet reflection and mental preparation. Gladiators lay on mats, eyes closed, and reviewed the day. They imagined sequences of training, remembered small lessons, and anticipated tomorrow's exercises. The mind remained calm, alert, and observant, integrating experience without tension. Visualization became a gentle rehearsal, reinforcing endurance, skill, and quiet mental focus. Sometimes breathing exercises accompanied mental preparation. Slow inhalations and exhalations aligned with gentle awareness of muscles and posture. The body became synchronized with the breath, and the mind grew steady and centered. Even minor distractions, the faint sounds of wind, distant voices, or the creak of a door, were observed calmly and released. These small exercises reinforced resilience and inner peace before sleep. For some gladiators, a small serving of light porridge or softened grains completed the night ritual. This was never heavy or rich, only enough to stabilize the stomach and prevent waking from hunger. The texture was smooth, warm, and comforting, and each bite was deliberate. The combination of grains, water, and a touch of honey supported calm digestion and slow energy release. The aroma, subtle sweetness, and warmth created a sense of security and readiness for rest. Straw mats were arranged carefully, weapons and armor stored safely, and personal space kept orderly. Even small details, folding blankets, aligning mats, or arranging clothing, contributed to a sense of stability. This quiet order encouraged calm, mental clarity, and gentle comfort. Every movement, gesture, and breath became part of a ritual designed to foster tranquility. The body absorbed restfulness, while the mind embraced stillness. Soft murmurs or whispered exchanges occasionally passed between men. Advice, reflections, or observations about training were shared gently, with calm tones. The sound was soothing, a quiet human rhythm amidst the evening air. It contributed to a sense of community, connection, and mental ease. Even conversation became part of the meditative, restorative environment. The night air carried subtle fragrances, herbs, warm grains, distant fires, and the earth beneath the stone courtyard. Each inhalation was soft, grounding, and restorative. Gladiators noticed these details as part of their ritual, integrating senses into quiet awareness. Every subtle sensation, smell, or sound reinforced calm, endurance, and readiness for sleep. By the end of these nighttime rituals, the gladiator was fully prepared for rest. Muscles were relaxed, the stomach gently full, and the mind steady and calm. Even in the simplicity of light snacks, herbal infusions, and careful gestures, the body and mind were nourished. Every bite, sip, movement, and breath contributed to recovery, endurance, and gentle focus. And so, with calm attention, quiet preparation, and subtle rituals, the gladiator lay down to sleep, ready for the next day's quiet rhythm. Section 12. Early morning routines of rest and subtle night nutrition. Before the first light of dawn, the gladiators rested quietly on their straw mats. The courtyard was still, filled only with faint whispers of wind and distant night sounds. Even in darkness, subtle routines ensured the body and mind remained balanced and prepared. Some men had already awakened slightly, shifting quietly, stretching in gentle, deliberate movements. The early hours were calm, meditative, and filled with small rituals of recovery. For those who required a minor night snack, small portions were quietly consumed. Soft, dried fruits like figs or dates were common. They offered gentle sweetness, slow energy, and comfort without disturbing rest. Each bite was eaten slowly, deliberately, with awareness of texture and subtle flavor. The act of consuming these small snacks became a calming, almost meditative ritual. Occasionally, roasted nuts or seeds accompanied the early morning snack. Almonds, walnuts, or pumpkin seeds were chewed carefully. The crunch was subtle, grounding, and rhythmical, creating a quiet focus before full activity. Even these simple foods supported the body's preparation for the day ahead. Every bite, sip, and subtle movement contributed to balance, alertness, and calm readiness. Warm barley water or light herbal teas were sometimes consumed in these hours. Chamomile, fennel, or mild mint leaves steeped gently, releasing soft fragrances into the early air. The steam rose slowly, touching the hands and face with warmth. The aroma alone encouraged relaxation, steady breathing, and gentle mental preparation. Even the quiet sipping of these drinks reinforced calm focus and gentle energy. Some gladiators practiced subtle stretching before morning training. Arms, legs, and torsos moved slowly, lengthening muscles without strain. Each stretch was deliberate, aligning breath with movement and supporting blood flow. The quiet courtyard allowed full attention to the body, the breath, and the rhythm of early morning life. The subtle movements prepared muscles for exertion, while soothing fatigue from previous days. The preparation of space was part of the ritual. Straw mats were smoothed, personal belongings arranged, and weapons stored safely. Even minor adjustments encouraged mental clarity, calmness, and readiness. The environment itself became part of the meditative routine, supporting focus and quiet awareness. Order, rhythm, and simplicity reinforced both body and mind in these early hours. Some gladiators applied light herbal ointments or oils before training. Olive oil or mild salves were rubbed slowly over shoulders, arms, or legs. The warmth of the hands and the subtle fragrance of herbs encouraged relaxation and readiness. Even small gestures were deliberate, gentle, and mindful, reinforcing calm strength. These routines helped maintain muscle flexibility, reduce minor stiffness, and prepare the body for action. Visualization exercises sometimes accompanied these quiet rituals. The gladiator imagined movements, sequences, and strategies in slow, deliberate detail. The mind rehearsed techniques while remaining calm and focused. Each breath, each mental image, and each subtle bodily movement contributed to steady preparedness. The early morning hours became a meditation of awareness, concentration, and quiet energy. Some men practiced deep breathing at this time. Slow inhalations and exhalations aligned with subtle stretching or light movements. The breath was gentle, rhythmical, and calming. It balanced the mind, relaxed the muscles, and encouraged steady circulation. Even small breaths became part of a larger, restorative ritual. Night nutrition, light as it was, helped reinforce morning readiness. The small snacks of fruit, nuts, or soft grains had a long, slow effect on energy levels. The body absorbed the nutrients gently, releasing fuel steadily as the sun began to rise. The combination of light food, warmth, hydration, and calm breathing supported a smooth transition from rest to action. Every small gesture was part of the holistic preparation for training, practice, and endurance. The quiet courtyard, the soft aromas, and the subtle morning light contributed to calm awareness. Even distant sounds, rustling leaves, faint water, or the soft shuffle of feet were absorbed and integrated into the rhythm. The gladiator's mind stayed alert yet serene, connected with every subtle movement and sensation. The early morning rituals became an extension of nighttime preparation, reinforcing focus, patience, and gentle energy. Everything moved slowly, harmoniously, and with deliberate attention. By the end of the early morning routines, the gladiator was fully prepared for the day's first training session. Muscles were warm, flexible, and ready. The stomach was gently balanced. The mind was calm and focused. Even in the simplicity of light snacks, warm drinks, and quiet stretching, the body and mind were nourished. Every subtle gesture, taste, aroma, and movement contributed to endurance, balance, and steady calm. The early hours became a seamless blend of rest, preparation, and quiet meditation, readying the gladiator for the rhythm of the day ahead. Section 13. Pre-training breakfast, gentle awakenings, and mindful body preparation. As the first light of dawn touched the courtyard, The gladiators began to awaken. The air was cool, soft, and still, carrying faint scents of earth, clay, and distant fires. Eyes opened slowly, muscles stretched gently, and the body moved with careful awareness. Even the simple act of waking was considered part of preparation for the day ahead. The early hours were quiet, calm, and meditative, fostering both physical readiness and mental focus. Pre-training breakfast was light but deliberate. Barley porridge, prepared the night before or freshly cooked, was common. Its warmth and soft texture eased the stomach into activity. Some men added small amounts of spelt or lentils for additional energy. The flavors were subtle, earthy, and comforting, helping the body transition from rest to exertion. Soft fruits, such as dates or figs, were often included with breakfast. They provided gentle sweetness and slow-release energy for the muscles. Chewing was deliberate and mindful, with attention to texture and taste. Even a few pieces could sustain strength for morning exercises without feeling heavy. The aroma of ripe fruit mingled softly with the warm porridge, creating a serene atmosphere. Light protein sources complemented the meal. Soft cheeses, nuts, or seeds were added in moderation. Almonds, walnuts, or pine nuts offered subtle flavors and steady nutrients. Each bite was consumed slowly, reinforcing calm attention and mindful eating. The combination of grains, fruits, and nuts supported endurance while maintaining comfort. Hydration was equally important. Barley water or warm herbal infusions, such as fennel or mint, were sipped slowly. The warmth and aroma encouraged gentle awakening, soothing the stomach and mind. Every sip reinforced a sense of balance, focus, and readiness for activity. Even the smallest gestures, like lifting a cup or noticing steam, became part of the mindful routine. Some gladiators practiced gentle stretches while eating. Slow rotations of arms, legs, and torso prepared the muscles for training. Breathing aligned with movement, creating a rhythm of calm awareness. These early exercises encouraged blood flow, flexibility, and subtle mental focus. The courtyard remained quiet, the rising sun casting long, soft shadows over stone and straw. Preparation of personal space was another part of the ritual. Straw mats were straightened, weapons stored carefully, and clothing arranged neatly. The sense of order contributed to mental calm and readiness. Even minor movements were deliberate, reinforcing focus and patience. The environment itself supported the holistic approach to training and nourishment. Some gladiators applied light herbal ointments or oils before leaving their sleeping area. Olive oil warmed by hands or infused with mild herbs was rubbed gently over sore or tight muscles. The warmth, pressure, and fragrance promoted relaxation while preparing the body for exercise. This subtle ritual enhanced circulation, eased stiffness, and contributed to a feeling of gentle readiness. Even the smallest touch was meaningful, linking awareness with physical preparation. Breathing exercises accompanied the stretches and application of oils. Inhalations were slow and full, exhalations deliberate and controlled. The rhythm of breath synchronized with the body's movements, creating calm focus. Even minor distractions, rustling leaves, distant voices, or faint animal sounds, were acknowledged and released. The gladiator's attention centered on subtle sensations, strengthening mental clarity. Morning snacks, if needed, were consumed before heading to training grounds. A few almonds, a slice of soft bread, or a small portion of dried fruit offered energy without heaviness. Each bite was mindful, each flavor appreciated, contributing to a sense of readiness. Even simple foods became part of the holistic preparation, supporting endurance and calm focus. The act of eating slowly reinforced deliberate awareness and body-mind harmony. The courtyard itself encouraged mindfulness during this early period. The soft warmth of sunlight on stone floors, the faint sense of cooked grains and herbs, and the distant sounds of birds or wind created a tranquil setting. Even the most routine movements, walking to the training area, lifting utensils, or arranging mats, were observed fully. Every gesture became part of the rhythm of calm, preparation, and mindful presence. A body absorbed energy while the mind cultivated patience and quiet focus. By the end of pre-training breakfast and early morning routines, the gladiator's body was fully awake and lightly nourished. Muscles were flexible, the stomach gently prepared, and the mind calm yet alert. Every small action, from eating to stretching, from breathing to subtle massage, contributed to balance and readiness. Even the quiet, deliberate enjoyment of simple foods and aromas played a role in holistic preparation. With each passing moment, the gladiator moved closer to the peak of gentle focus and energy, ready to begin morning training, fully prepared. Section 14. The first hour of morning training, pre-flight preparations, and nutritional awareness. The first light of morning touched the training grounds, casting long, gentle shadows over stone and earth. Gladiators stepped slowly into the open air, muscles stretching softly, minds focused but calm. The early hours were quiet, filled with subtle movement and careful observation. Even the faint sounds of distant birds, rustling leaves, and the gentle clatter of equipment were absorbed into the rhythm of the day. Each step, each gesture, and each breath became part of a deliberate, mindful routine. Training began with slow, controlled movements. Footwork, balance, and posture were practiced gently, ensuring precision without rushing. The body warmed gradually, absorbing the subtle energy from morning light and the rhythm of repeated actions. Trainers spoke in quiet tones, guiding without urgency, reinforcing calm awareness and steady focus. Every motion, from raising the arm to shifting weight, became an opportunity for controlled preparation. Breathing was synchronized with each movement. Inhalations were full and gentle, exhalations deliberate and long. The flow of breath encouraged calm, steady circulation, supporting endurance for hours of exercise. Even subtle sounds, the scraping of sandals on stone, or the soft shuffle of feet, were noticed and integrated into the meditative rhythm. The mind remained alert, present, and quietly focused, mirroring the body's slow, purposeful energy. Small nutritional rituals were observed during this period. Water was sipped slowly to maintain hydration, and small bites of soft grains or nuts provided steady energy. These were never hurried or excessive. They were precise, measured, and deliberate. The taste, texture, and warmth of each mouthful reinforced awareness and focus. Even minor nutrition became part of the holistic approach to pre-fight preparation. Some gladiators performed partner exercises. Movements were controlled, precise, and collaborative, requiring attention to balance and coordination. The energy of each partner was felt subtly, creating a quiet rhythm of shared effort. Even light contact was mindful, reinforcing body awareness and endurance. These gentle interactions contributed to strength without creating tension or agitation. Trainers monitored posture, foot placement, and movement carefully, Their voices remained calm, offering guidance without urgency or sharpness. The focus was on precision, stability, and slow mastery, rather than speed or aggression. Every correction reinforced mindfulness, patience, and physical alignment. Even minor adjustments contributed to long-term endurance, flexibility, and controlled power. During the first hour of training, the mind and body became finely attuned. Attention to detail, gentle repetition, and subtle observation fostered readiness for more intense exercises later in the day. The environment, the soft morning light, quiet air, and muted sounds of movement reinforced calm, steady focus. Every gesture, step, and breath prepared the gladiator for both physical challenge and mental clarity. The training space became a sanctuary of controlled energy and measured effort. Subtle nutrition continued alongside exercise. Occasional sips of herbal infusions or small amounts of barley water replenished the body gently. Even the sound of liquid moving in a cup, the warmth against the lips, and the faint aroma of herbs became part of the meditative rhythm. These small details reinforced calmness, endurance, and mental focus, quietly supporting physical readiness. Energy was maintained without heaviness or fatigue. Light stretching and mobility exercises punctuated the hour. Arms, legs, and torso were extended, twisted, and rotated slowly. These movements eased minor tension, prepared muscles for specific techniques, and enhanced body awareness. Even the smallest gestures were deliberate, contributing to overall strength, flexibility, and balance. The rhythm of motion and breath became a form of meditation in itself. Gladiators also practiced mental rehearsal during this first hour. They visualized sequences, imagined movements, and reviewed strategies calmly and deliberately. The mind rehearsed each motion without haste, reinforcing focus, patience, and steady preparedness. Even subtle awareness of opponents, surroundings, and timing was integrated into the meditation. The combination of physical and mental preparation created a complete, balanced readiness for training and eventual combat. By the end of the first hour, the gladiators were warmed, nourished, and deeply attuned to both body and mind. Muscles were flexible, minds were alert yet calm, and energy was steady and sustainable. Even small rituals, breathing, sipping, chewing, observing, had contributed to endurance, focus, and subtle strength. The early morning training had established a rhythm, a foundation of calm energy, and gentle preparedness for more intense work later in the day. The body and mind moved together in harmony, ready for the next stage of deliberate, measured training. Section 15. Pre-fight meal, quiet reflection, and final calming rituals. As the morning training concluded, the gladiators returned to the dining area for the pre-fight meal. The courtyard was quiet, filled only with the soft hum of distant water and faint footsteps. Even in anticipation of the day's exertions, the atmosphere remained calm, deliberate, and soothing. Every movement, gesture, and breath contributed to preparation, strength, and subtle focus. The pre-fight meal was never rushed. It was eaten slowly, with awareness and care. Barley porridge formed the core of this meal. It was cooked gently, smooth and warm, providing slow energy without burdening the stomach. Sometimes lightly sweetened with honey or combined with small amounts of dried fruit, it offered comfort and nourishment. The aroma rose softly, mingling with the faint scents of herbs and warm clay from the courtyard. Each bite reinforced calm readiness, steady energy, and subtle endurance. Soft vegetables, carefully cooked, accompanied the grains. Carrots, leeks, cabbage, and beans were simmered gently to retain tenderness and flavor. Even the faint earthy scent was part of the preparation, creating a soothing sensory environment. The flavors were subtle, familiar, and grounding, supporting both body and mind. Each mouthful contributed to a sense of balance, patience, and quiet energy. Protein was provided through small portions of legumes or soft cheese. Chickpeas, lentils, and fresh cheese offered essential nutrients while remaining gentle on the stomach. Each bite was eaten deliberately, chewed slowly, and appreciated for taste and texture. The simple, nourishing food supported endurance and mental focus without distraction. Even the act of eating became a mindful ritual, part of the holistic preparation for exertion. Herbal infusions were consumed alongside the meal. Mild mint, fennel, or chamomile, steeped in warm water, releasing calming aromas. Sipping slowly, the gladiators felt warmth flow through the body, easing tension and supporting digestion. The fragrance and warmth encouraged awareness, patience, and subtle energy. Every breath, sip, and gesture became part of a deliberate, restorative rhythm. After the meal, gladiators engaged in quiet reflection. They closed their eyes, breathing slowly, reviewing techniques and movements from training. Mental rehearsal was deliberate, precise, and calm, reinforcing focus and readiness. Even in this quiet meditation, the senses remained attuned to the environment, the warmth of the sun, distant sounds, or gentle breeze. Mind and body were synchronized, cultivating patience, strength, and clarity. Subtle stretching followed, emphasizing gentle motion and awareness. Arms, legs, and torsos moved slowly, releasing minor tension and preparing for exertion. Each movement was synchronized with breath, reinforcing calm focus. Even small gestures, like turning the wrist or flexing a foot, contributed to readiness. The quiet rhythm of stretching, combined with calm breathing, became a form of moving meditation. Some gladiators applied light massage or herbal ointments before stepping into more active preparation. Olive oil or mild salves warmed by the hands eased muscle tension and supported circulation. The sensation of warmth, gentle pressure, and soft fragrance reinforced relaxation and readiness. Even subtle touches were deliberate, mindful, and calming. These small rituals ensured the body was supple, strong, and attentive for the demands ahead. The pre-fight ritual also involved organization and attention to personal space. Weapons were cleaned and set aside, mats adjusted, and clothing arranged neatly. Every small act reinforced order, calm, and mental focus. Even the simplest gestures, folding fabric, setting a bowl, or brushing away dust, were part of preparation. The environment supported both physical and mental alignment, fostering quiet readiness. Hydration remained part of the final ritual. Sips of water or barley water were taken slowly, maintaining balance without overfilling the stomach. The warmth and subtle taste were comforting, reinforcing steady energy and gentle focus. Even the faint sound of liquid moving in a cup became a meditative rhythm. Every element of nourishment, hydration, and gentle attention contributed to equilibrium and calm strength. The last moments before rest involved soft mental focus. Gladiators visualized techniques, recalled guidance from trainers, and imagined movements with precision. The mind rehearsed without tension, integrating skill, experience, and awareness. Each breath was steady, every heartbeat noticed, every sensation absorbed calmly. The mind and body moved together in harmony, fully prepared for the day's challenges. By the end of these pre-fight rituals, the gladiator was nourished, calm, and aligned. Muscles were relaxed but ready, the stomach gently filled, and the mind clear and attentive. Every small bite, sip, stretch, and breath contributed to strength, endurance, and focus. The day's work was met with quiet confidence, grounded preparation, and measured energy. The rhythm of food, rest, attention, and gentle ritual had guided the body and mind toward balance. Now, the day's preparation is complete, and the gladiator rests quietly. Muscles are warm, the stomach gently nourished, and the mind calm and alert. Every moment of the day, from morning awakenings to pre-fight rituals, has contributed to quiet strength and readiness. The body is relaxed, the mind at ease, and energy flows steadily and gently. Let your own breath slow, your body sink comfortably, and your mind embrace calm reflection. The courtyard is silent, the warm sunlight softening, the air filled with subtle scents and gentle warmth. You may imagine yourself there, moving slowly, breathing deeply, noticing every small detail, and feeling calm. Allow your thoughts to drift quietly as muscles and mind relax together. The rhythm of the day is complete, and now rest is gentle. Sleep is a metaphor for grief, quiet reflection, and subtle movement. Lay all your rest in bed awaking, feel calm, and relaxed with every detail of your reality. Full and inviting. Close your eyes, breathe calmly, and feel the subtle warmth of every movement you imagined. The body is nourished, the mind attentive yet peaceful, and the day's energy settles softly. Let yourself drift, slow and steady, toward gentle, restorative sleep. Every breath, every thought, and every quiet sensation supports calm, comfort, and ease. Sleep now, gently, deeply, and peacefully. May your dreams be calm, your rest restorative, and your body and mind ready for tomorrow's quiet rhythm.